Well, hello everybody, welcome back down into the dungeon. Playing with some houseplants today. Thought I'd bring you guys along. I mean, it's not edible gardening, which is what my normal fare would be on this channel, but it is gardening all the same. So, I have these Dieffenbachia amongst our limited number of houseplants, and I don't really know a lot about them, but I've been kind of learning as I grow, you know, like I do. And, well, I think it's time to change the situation for a couple of these plants, basically. Yeah. Around here, to me, the Dieffenbachia is kind of the plant of my shame. I've discovered that when you let these things wilt once, they are inclined to stay wilted forever. No matter how happy and healthy they get and grow upright from there, that wilt, you're stuck with it. Just the shame will always be there. Notice this one's got a new sprout coming up in the middle, so that's good. But I have seen some of these things grow to incredible heights. Like, seriously, Shock's mom had one of these things in the corner of their living room. Thing must have been at least 6 feet tall. The leaves were absolutely massive. And really, I think it all just came down to how she cared for it. Unfortunately, she's not around to ask her opinions and thoughts on it. But I have noticed a few things that I think might help get a similar quality of plant. Now, one thing Shocks was mentioning was that her mom used to spray it with diluted milk to kind of wash off the leaves, which I guess would kind of be a nice potassium boost, and I don't know what other kind of boosts it might have had to the plant, but the thing was massive, so I'm going to give that a try. Maybe not today. Today I'm going to be fiddling with transplants and trying to clone this, so we'll see how that goes. But that was one thing that she mentioned, and another thing she mentioned was that if there was an issue with the plant, her mom would just cut it off and stuff the top into soil. And she gave the example of where I've got my little taped band-aid here. Just snip it off at the top, it'll regrow, stuff this into some soil, and it'll grow roots, everything will be fine. So we're going to do that today, amongst other things. This particular bit here, I'm thinking would be nice to kind of transplant maybe up past the spiral, cut it so it stays inside its planter there, you can't really see it, cut it so it stays inside the planter and then bury that. We'll see if that produces some roots for us. This one here, this is the one that was on the shelf over by the overwintered peppers, and as you can see it's really loving that fluorescent light, so it's definitely going back into that environment. But we've got a couple of points of absolute shame here. And on this one, move plant. And on this one here, and the one behind it, but this is a better example, we can see a couple of things. One, we can see where it has started shoots going up. And two, we can see where it is thin for a good long time, and then all of a sudden it's really swollen. So I'm thinking this is where it's got its water reserve. And if I cut this puppy at about here, this might just take off and become its own plant for me, so we're going to try that. And I figure it's okay because failing all else, I've got this fresh shoot in the middle. And the one in the back is in a similar situation. It's a very fat bit of trunk there that's been quite skinny all the way along and then thunk. So I'm going to cut it. There's a shoot just there by my thumb. I'm going to let that kind of become the dominant end of the shoot, see what happens there. Hopefully we can root this as well. I don't know. I am totally making this up as I go, but that is what I'm going to do. Something else I want to try today is I've been looking up, I've been looking up grassland and pasture management. And it may not seem relevant, may not be relevant, but one thing I've noticed is they're really big on mixing species together because they do better when there's, you know, multiple types of plants in the same area. Kind of against a lot of, you know, monocropping stuff, so already I'm foursquare behind the idea. But what I'm going to do to kind of test that theory with houseplants is I'm going to put one of our spider plants in amongst 3 of the astrid peperomias and just kind of see how that planting does. So I'm hoping to get that done today as well. We shall see. But these things don't put out much of a root system at all. So there really shouldn't be too much competition with the spider plant, which I know does put out a big, massive root system. But yeah, like I say, it's a houseplant experiment. Should be pretty, at least. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, first things first, I gotta find a planter to put some Dieffenbachia into. And ultimately, I don't know, I might be putting this into something larger, or I might just snip it. I'm undecided there. I know I'm definitely going to snip it to try those, but this just seems so small for so much plant matter. I'm really curious to see what the root situation is. Oh, decisions. Alright, well, stick around. We'll see what I decide to do, eh? Well, the positive side of so many of the overwintered peppers no longer being with us is that I do have at my disposal a rather large number of large planters, and I have a bunch of soil that I am not going to use for next year's seedlings because, frankly, the whole peat moss thing seems to be working out fantastic, so I am not going to mess with that. However, I figure no reason to not recycle this for houseplants, and as an added bonus I found a couple of live earthworms in here, so I threw those into the earthworm composting bin, and I'm just kind of assuming there are a few of them still in here. What's most important though is that they will have left some of their little microbiology behind, some of those happy little bacteria that plants love so much. So that, I think, probably bodes well for our little Dieffenbachia here. Poor thing, I know less about these than I do about peppers, and that is saying something. But this is the one I've decided to transplant. This is the saddest of the two planter situations, so I think it deserves better than that. And no matter what else, this will be better than that. I think we are also going to use this plant as our polyculture opportunity. I'm going to put the spider plant in here with this. I'm going to put those astrids in here with this, and I'm just going to take care of all of those projects in one planter. So this is going to be really interesting to see how it comes along. I've lost track of the tripod today, so I'm just going to have to update you guys as we go. Well, I might as well bring you along for the most painful part of this. Oh, those cuts. I guess I'm going to do the other one up here. Okay. Oh, nervous. Very, very nervous. Since these things seem to be so unforgiving about going dry, I've got them sitting in some fish tank water at the moment. I won't be able to put this back into the aquaponic garden. Another word or name for Dieffenbachia is dumbcane, because apparently this stuff can make you a little bit on the numb side if you are not expecting it or using it in the wrong way. I'm not quite sure how that works because it's never been a problem for me. But anyway, I do not want to introduce anything that could screw up my poor little fish. They've got enough to worry about being workers in this garden. So this is what we're looking like now. Kind of want to pop this over on camera so we can find out together how that looks. I need a third hand. Where's Zaphod Beeblebrox and his third arm when you need one? Okay, well, there we go. And shake. Nope. Okay, that's not too bad. I actually expected a lot more of a root-bound looking situation in there. Roll it around a little bit. This would be one of the little ones that I pulled out. When we initially got these Dieffenbachia, there's a whole bunch of them in a single planter. Came from Crappy Tire. I think it was like $12. The brother-in-law had given us a gift card, so we went, sure, plants, that sounds great. So thanks, Chris. I don't know if you're watching these, but so we can see here we've got a couple of shoots. Might be another one coming up at the bottom there. So this is going to be interesting. It should definitely survive the transplant as long as I don't take too long screwing around to get this done. But I'll want to make sure that's about center, I think. I'm going to bring my soil level up just a little bit more. And I guess I should start grabbing the spider plants and such that are going to go in here. Alright, well, you know what? So far, that really doesn't look half bad. Testing crop theories and grassland restoration. You never know what you're going to get on this channel. Anyway, I'm thinking, yeah, 3 astrid preps. Poof, by the miracle of editing, kind of like that. I don't know, I'll wander around for a few minutes, decide if I'm going to commit to the idea or not here. Just don't know. It'll look better without the planters, I'm sure. Thought I would stop and show you this because this is one thing that kind of amazes me about these astrid peperomias. It's a decent little plant. It's had quite some time to root, and it has rooted, but look how tiny its little root ball is. I've uprooted to transplant some considerably larger ones and found their root system wasn't much bigger than this. These things can basically live forever in cups this size, but they don't get to. This one, in fact, is going to be transplanted a little bit later on. Probably should have done that in this, but no, I wasn't thinking. No. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to show you the tiny little root systems on these. Kind of reminds me of those, what are they, air plants that you kind of glue them onto a piece of driftwood and they just grow from there. That'd be cool. I should get some of those. Well, aside from the fact that I have no idea if these plants are compatible with each other or not, it kind of looks nice. I'm going to have to grab that pump sprayer and kind of hose it down, clean up the edges a little bit, but that'll give me a good opportunity to water these things in. Got to be careful doing that though, because I don't have a lot of room to pack it down with these ones. The spider plants, those roots will go all the way down to the bottom. I'm sure of that. The Dieffenbachia, I don't know. I really expected it would have been a lot more root bound, so it might be happy in the middle there. It might go all the way to the edges. It might go all the way down. But it's got options now. It's going to be really interesting to see if working together, living together, any of these plants seem to do significantly better or worse or what. But either way, I don't know, having fun with the houseplants. You got to do something to deal with these winter gardening blues, you know? Well, it does look nice at the end of the overwintered garden there with the other houseplants. Coffee trees in front of it. This one seems a little happier since it's been transplanted, and this one has just got loads of new growth on the top. That's fantastic. Little lemon tree down there. Can't believe that's still alive, but whatever, it is, so cool. Another Dieffenbachia. That's why I'm thinking it's a good idea to put it down there. That one seems pretty happy, so that's good. So we'll see what our triple planted houseplant planter does over the months ahead. The astrids are shade loving. Spider plants don't seem to mind the shade. Dieffenbachia beside it's doing okay. I'm thinking this will go well, but you know me, and you know how it goes around here. So, yeah, here's to hope. Well, I guess while I'm involved in hopeful snipping, might as well just make that cut there too. Oh, I hope this plays out well. Anywho, there's the one in the middle. So, yeah, it's not bad. A little band-aid there. I think if something sprouts up here, I'll probably be a little more confident to cut this off. So, until then, I might just add to my little band-aid. I don't know if I'm taking that back upstairs to the houseplant shelf there, or putting it down on the floor, though, because like I said, they seem to like to grow up, even if the light's that far away. That one in the corner seems pretty happy. And this is nowhere near as variegated as the others, so yeah, okay, I guess that solves it. I am going to leave it down here, off to the corner for you, into the Folgers can for you. It's cute, but that's going to need a bigger planter. That's a project for another day. What's important is that it's got a spot where it should do well, right? By the way, if you happen to know more about Dieffenbachias, and I'm clearly sticking my foot in my mouth, please feel free to mention that in the comments below. Y'all know how much I do appreciate your helpful comments. Anywho, I have those cuttings to deal with, don't I? It would be wonderful if all of these things actually do root, but I mean, that's not really how things tend to work around here. I just don't know. Should I try rooting these in just some water and leave one of them in there? I mean, what the heck? I'll leave this one in there. Can't hurt to leave one, right? And I'll need to figure out something else for these other two. This setup wasn't exactly pretty, but it did seem to work. So as long as I keep it moist, that's one. And I think in the spirit of experimentation, that's going to be number two. Clean it up a little bit, but whatever. They're staying down here, so presentation at this point is somewhat irrelevant. We'll see. That one's iffy. Might not actually even fit in there. That one, though, we can definitely get started on that one. Alright, so my final decision here is, this is the larger piece. I have cut off two smaller pieces that I'm going to attempt to root as well. We'll put those here for now with the ginger. But this has got a nice big bulb on the base of it. I'm hoping that's got enough moisture in it to carry it through the rooting process. We've got a couple of shoots on there. I'm going to try and center that as we go up and fill one of our original planters here. Well, that's one taken care of. I still got to clean that chair off. But for now, we're going to continue to use it as a washing station. I will wash that off as I soak it in. It will undoubtedly end up in what is kind of becoming Dieffenbachia corner over there. But I have a few more chunks off of that cutting I've got to deal with. So since this one cutting is so tiny, I figure I can probably get away with trying it in the party cup, double cup, planter, whatever the hell this coffee can planter style is turning into. Anyway, I'm putting one in here, and then I've still got this other itty bitty nub to deal with. Resist, resist. And I guess we're just going to take this last one and kind of shove it in here, cover it up. Can't really see it at the moment, but and soak it down. It's got cuts in the bottom of this, and yet another of the infinite uses for mason jars. But that should work, hopefully. I know it'll work for drain, but I don't know if it's going to work for making me a new Dieffenbachia or not. The numbers are piling up though, so the potential's pretty good. And I guess for that last one, we've got this old planter here. I didn't really like using this for peppers or tomatoes, but I figured it'll be fine for houseplants. It does have a little fabric wick there and a little reservoir at the bottom. I'm not entirely convinced that that's fully functional. I kind of blame the fabric choice in there. Doesn't really matter though, because I do water these from the top. So I'm thinking, come here little friend, that our U-shaped Dieffenbachia cutting is going to get kind of plunked in the middle of that and watered in real good. Alright, well, make a little trench for it and cover it up, plunk it down, hope for the best. That one that's on the ground there, I should probably cut that off. Where are my scissors? I lost my scissors. Oh, there we go. And that leaf there, never happened. That didn't look bad. Little off center. No real surprise, you know, those of you know me. Okay, so cool. If these root, I've got a whole lot more Dieffenbachia plants to run around the house and put around everywhere. This, well, that's just, you know, yet another experiment for the winter garden. I don't know if it'll root in just plain water or not, but we'll find out together, shall we? So that is not bad. I'm gonna have to spray those off like I was saying, and the chair is in desperate need of a spraying along the way as well. And my little multi-plant project over there, it's going to be interesting to see what comes of that, but I think I'm done mucking about with the houseplants for today. So, y'all know what that means. It means as much fun as I'm having playing in the dirt and babbling with you guys, I've got other crap I've got to go do. So I'm going to go off and do that, and I will see you guys Sunday for sure with the garden update, and we'll possibly see how these Dieffenbachia are doing, because after all, they're down here in the garden now. But maybe Saturday, maybe Monday. I think based on the failure of that smart garden that I got, I am ready to try basically making one of those, because after all, the part that failed on that, I've already got working. Case in point, the rest of that's basically just a reservoir and some things to hold vermiculite. I can do that. So yeah, tomorrow, you know, so Saturday, Monday, I'm not sure, in there somewhere. Stick around, it will be coming up. My knockoff smart garden, because why not? Anyway, until then, take care everybody, and I will see you guys next time.